Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like. We're trying to hit 40k subs over here, so that subscription would be much appreciated. Today's video is a combination of a bunch of small little things that annoyed me. I think we're going to title this video something like 3 things that pissed me off today. None of them are worthy of an individual video, but together we can get some content out of this. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to highlight, unfortunately, because I do really like him, JJ Redick said this. He says that he spends an hour and a half talking to ChatGPT. If it's only an hour and a half, I can live with that. I think he means in general. Number one, I do have a general curiosity about stuff. I'm the type of person who spends an hour and a half going down a deep rabbit hole on ChatGPT. It used to be Wikipedia, but now it's my friend Chat. Okay. I am starting to feel more and more like a Luddite. I fucking hate AI so much. And there are things where it is acceptable for the application of it. Like if you're putting together a business email, I don't think it is like corruptive of like the art of your email to have a chat bot do it. There's a bunch of environmental issues with it that are of great concern, but if you don't give a shit about that, I can understand using it for certain utility. But calling ChatGPT your friend is so pathetic. I can't even wrap my head around how pathetic it is. And unfortunately, it is a deeply common thing. There are people out here who are like claiming to be in relationships with their chatbot. It's very sad, and there's much better ways to research things. Let me see if I can get this same answer again, because I asked Google the other day how many career dunks Larry Bird has, and it makes sense that that wasn't tracked, but I wanted to see if someone had an answer, and of course Gemini was happy to give me some complete horseshit. Bird have. Oh, now it's a different answer. Are you fucking kidding me? Last time it told me it is hard to know how many career dunks Larry Bird has, but it is certainly a small part of his 3,800 career points. And what it was actually citing was someone who said that that was Shaq's career tally of dunks, but they said Larry Bird scored a career total of 3,000 something points. It's just extremely flawed, broken technology that is bad for the environment and very prone to usage from stupid people who will listen to nothing else. It's very upsetting to me. I like JJ Redick a lot. I hated seeing this. This pissed me off. There are much better ways to be curious about things. There's much better ways to research things. Come on. A bunch of people were like, oh, is he coming up with plays through ChatGPT? I'm sure he wouldn't say that. I mean, it would be a direct quote if he did. Yeah, so many people have fucking AI brain rot. I don't know that I can make the most compelling case against it. I'm just telling you right now, it pisses me off and I hate it. Next up, we have Scotty Pippen saying some complete horseshit, saying that he is unsure whether Luka or Jokic would have dominated in this era. I don't know if they could dominate. In the 80s and 90s, we used to press all over the field. Could Jokic bring the ball up against such pressure? I don't know. Sure, he can see the court and pass very well, but I don't know if he would be comfortable bringing the ball up from the back with pressure. I think Scottie Pippen's taking the notion that Nikola Jokic is a point guard playing center a little bit too literally. Jokic doesn't bring the ball up the court all that much, and if you completely nix that from his game, if Jokic is just completely incapable of bringing the ball up the court against a full court press in the 90s, then have the point guard bring the ball up and get it to him in the mid post where he does his damage anyway. It doesn't matter at all. That is maybe the least consequential aspect of his game that he could have highlighted here. Also, like, sure, he can see the court and pass very well. Talk about a goddamn understatement. Yeah, he can pass pretty well, I think. This is my response to it on Twitter. It's more or less my response now. Like, yeah, it really sucks that his game is entirely defined by his ability to take the ball up the court. He has just absolutely owned him in the marketplace of ideas. Luka and Jokic's career are shattered now. The other thing that pisses me off about that, we used to press all over the field. That still happens now a lot. Like a lot. Like it is not something that has disappeared from the game whatsoever. I saw some bullshit in my comments that was, where is this? Jokic is not stopping any center in the 90s. Even Rick Smits would look like Shaq when defended by Jokic. Do you recognize what Jokic's problem is as a defensive player, the thing that usually causes him issues? It's A, that he's not the strongest rim protector in terms of at least actually getting blocks, and then B, he is very slow. He is not quick on his feet, and if you get him out defending action high, a lot of the times he can get burned. He does have quick hands, which does make that, when he plays higher up on screens, better, but like, the main criticism for Jokic's defense is his lack of versatility in an era where versatility is so heavily emphasized. In the 90s, the most important thing you can do as a center is be really strong and really hard to move. And Nikola Jokic is those things. Post defense is the defense that he is the best at, that he is the most capable of, because it's the simplest and the most easily defined by just being a big ass dude. So this argument is also stupid. But just on the offensive end, on its own, full court press happened plenty. And also, the number one, I shouldn't have said this in my video about OKC. I said that the Thunder have no answer for Jokic. I think that's relative because Jokic still had a very great series, but he definitely was one of his worst ones. But like, the strategy the Thunder used against Jokic would be called illegal defense in the 80s and 90s. You wouldn't get away with that kind of defensive pressure. Like, I'm sorry, Nikola Jokic would absolutely dominate in the 80s and 90s. Also, like, if you want to talk about the physicality thing, I'm so tired of people referencing the 80s like they were a physical era. It fucking wasn't. Maybe a little bit more physical than it is now, but not substantially. Truly not substantially. The 80s were an offense-first era by far. Yeah, we're done with this one. Lastly, Danny Ainge. This is from LakersDaily.com, so maybe this source isn't that good. I mean, this is I've seen plenty of stuff from Lakers Daily before, so I have no reason to believe they're entirely unreputable. But if this is true, if the Jazz asked for Austin Reeves and 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler, they're out of their fucking mind. And this has been a persistent issue with Danny Ainge throughout his GMing career, but especially in recent years. Like, ever since he finessed the Brooklyn Nets in the infamous KG Paul Pierce trade that eventually got them Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and a championship in 2024, ever since then, this man has been insistent on not only winning every trade, but like winning it by some massive margin. Walker Kessler's a very good player. I just did a video about ESPN's 100 through 51, and I was baffled at Walker Kessler's placement, especially relative to like fucking Jonas Valanciunas, who's a significantly worse player. But Austin Reeves and 2 first-round picks? 2? Asking for Austin Reeves alone is a little bit much. You can argue that like a Walker Kessler ends up being as valuable, if not more, than Austin Reeves, even if Austin Reeves is obviously a much better scorer, ball handler, playmaker, all of those things, which are usually more valued than rim protection and all of that. But even still, a 1-to-1 swap I could maybe consider, especially from the perspective of the Lakers who need the center position. That alone is a little bit of a stretch, though, because, again, that archetype of player is valued more. But to ask for 2 first-round picks on top of it, and it's not just that this trade is outrageous, it's that this is a persistent issue with the Utah Jazz. The reason Lauri Markkanen is still on the Utah Jazz is because Danny Ainge kept trying to finesse people in that trade. And if he couldn't finesse people in that trade, he had no fucking interest in doing it. So the Jazz have been incredibly stagnant. They've made very few trades under his tenure, and they have kind of just waited for player value to decrease over time. Like, it's actually so dumb, and it is holding back the Jazz. Yeah, obviously, as a GM, it is great to finesse a team. It is great to have a trade where you're like, what the fuck was that other team doing? But you also will have to make trades that are fairly even. Sometimes you have to make trades at a loss for the betterment of the future, even if the trade individually isn't very good for you. It can be good for you in the long run. But no, he just keeps waiting for the player. Like, think of, dude, Lauri Markkanen coming off of his All-Star year. The Jazz should have traded him immediately. The number one focus of that offseason should have been to trade Lauri Markkanen. But instead, they gave him like a contract extension. Or no, that was in 2024. 2024, his numbers are basically the same. So you're still at a good point to trade him. He averages 2.4 less points, but his efficiency metrics are all pretty much the same thing. Last year, he fell all the way down to 19 points per game. He shot 42.3% from the field, 34.6% from three. His 2-point percentage dropped by 4%, and from the year before, his All-Star year, from 6%. His value is nowhere near what it was. And because they've given him that big old contract, that started last year, he went... So in 2024, bro, in a 23-24 season, Lauri Markkanen was making $17 million. This is the year after his All-Star season. And mind you, he's an All-Star at the age of 25, and this is a Utah Jazz team that is not going to be in playoff contention for probably at least another 3 years from now. So he's going to be fucking 30 by the time that he could possibly be on this roster in a contending conversation. And they had this man on $17 million, putting up 23 a game on nearly 50, 40, 90 shooting. And they didn't trade him. That is crazy. You're telling me you can't get multiple firsts? You're telling me you can't get a couple of good young players out of that situation? No, because all of the reports about trades for Lauri Markkanen at that time were like, yeah, they're asking for crazy shit for Lauri Markkanen, so we're not gonna do it. Yeah, man, that annoys me. And if I was a Utah Jazz fan, I would fucking hate Danny Ainge, to be honest with you. Not that he's done a holistically terrible job, but every time I hear about some shit he's doing, it makes me very upset. But yeah, that was 13 minutes and however many seconds of me complaining. Goodbye.